what? I'm going to go yes to this live stream. All right.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So hello, Facebook friends and family, and so excited to connect with you.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right. So welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Darren Weissman, and welcome to Deep Change Dialogue. The intention of this 30-minute dialogue is to empower you to the possibilities that exist when you bridge the gap to that invisible part of you called your subconscious mind. All things lifeline, a lifeline to awaken life's purpose. And I just want to make a quick announcement first before I introduce one of my dear friends and sister loves, Nikki Huskis, that the next cohort of the Lifeline certification, learning the step-by-step practice and technology of raising the emotionally charged memories that live within our subconscious minds so that we can fully enhance our body's ability to heal, and so that we can enhance our relationships to be thriving, and we can align ourselves with our dream and our life's purpose. So if that is something that resonates with you, that you're into understanding your mind, body, spirit, soul, heart, life journey, then check that out. David's going to post the link. So Nikki, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be a part of this Deep Change Dialogue. I love you and I adore you. And I'm just so grateful to dive deep because you are a person who is choosing to show up in the world, and you're making such a huge difference in so many people's lives on so many different levels. But the way that we know each other is through the LifeLine Technique. And I'm just curious how you got inspired to learn the LifeLine Technique in the first place. What inspired you to learn it?
Thank you so much, Darren. I love connecting with you again. Okay, I love this story. So I first came into contact with the Lifeline Technique through Diane McCann and the Goddess Within seminar. I'd heard about it, a seed was planted, and I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. And then my sister was learning it, as you know, Katrina Huskis. And I, at the time, was having a conversation with carpal tunnel in both of my wrists. And I was working my mum's business while she was traveling the world. I had 3 children, 3 small children, one that I was breastfeeding at the time. So I was incredibly grateful for the opportunity to be working an online business for my mum and still be at home caring for my children. But what happened was I developed this carpal tunnel conversation. And for me, I thought, well, maybe it's because I'm doing all of this extra work on the computer, even though something told me that it probably wasn't that, because I didn't think that I was using the computer that much more to make a difference like that. So I had 2 MRIs, and they said, yeah, I needed to have surgery on both wrists. And so I was scheduled for this particular time to have that. And the day that I found out that I was having surgery, the following week, Katrina came over and she said, can I just run a Lifeline session with you and see if it helps? And so at that time, I don't think she was fully qualified yet, but she was very close. So I said, sure. And I had no idea what this was. And that session changed my whole life. It was really emotional, and a lot of aha moments really landed. That night, so at the end of the session, I didn't really, I was sort of kind of in a bit of a daze. I felt, really, it was very intense. That night, I felt like the pain got a little bit worse. And so I remember vividly taking 2 painkillers and just going, I just need to go to sleep. I woke up the next morning and I was making breakfast, and my beloved Adam walked out and said to me, oh, how's your hands? And I stopped and I looked at them, and I completely hadn't even recognized that I was working with my hands completely pain-free. So I was waiting for the pain to come back, and it didn't. So a couple of days in, I realized I needed to cancel my surgery, which was great. And look, it's never come back since. That's all I know. And then I just went, I have to know more about this. So what ensued was every time in my family, if my children were unwell or I had a conversation with physical illness in particular, but also anxieties and things like that we had going in our home, we would go to Katrina first for a Lifeline session before going down the medical route. And it just started to become very natural for us. And then obviously then I wanted to learn it. So the rest is history, but amazing.
The rest is history. And so if you go to an orthopedist and they evaluate that there's a carpal tunnel, there's an impingement on the median nerve that as a result of this ligament called the volar ligament, that it creates this weakness in the muscles, this tingling, the inability to hold things, open up jars, different things like that. They cut that volar ligament to release the tension. As far as I know, Katrina is not an orthopedist, yet she did an energetic form of surgery, AKA Lifeline, that enabled your system to find its homeostasis, its natural self-healing ability. So that inspiration of physical transformation inspired you to know, like, wow, your emotions and the health of your body and being a mama and with your children was the catalyst for you stepping in to become certified as a Lifeline practitioner. Amazing story. It's an amazing story. I don't think I even knew that, to tell you the truth. I don't think I knew that. I've known a lot of different things because there's so many. I mean, your family is a deep dive into this, and we've known each other for a long time. And one of the many things that inspires me about you is your passion to continue to improve yourself and evolve yourself as a human being, as a woman, as just someone who is choosing to shine in the world. And you not only use it personally with your family, friends, stuff like that, but you are a real professional. You have studied with the incredible Denise Robinson, who has an amazing kinesiology curriculum. In and of itself, it's the best of the best. And so I'm curious about how you integrate Lifeline in your practice as a real certified Lifeline practitioner that's holding a space with other people.
Yeah, I use Lifeline every single day in my clinic. So I work 5 days a week with clients. And so sometimes I'm doing a Lifeline session, which means that I can be doing it online or I can be doing it face-to-face, heart to heart, sitting in a chair. But almost always what I do now is, obviously kinesiology is more you're laying on a table. So I guess that's the difference. I use the connection in such a beautiful, deep way. And everyone always wants to know, what is that thing that you did at the beginning? That's a game changer. And then what I do is I run, so I use muscle testing in the same way, run the session depending upon, obviously following the muscle testing for guidance. I have different processes that I use, but Lifeline will always come into it. Always, always. I use it to help, firstly, to set a goal or an intention. I use that aspect of how you teach the process of Lifeline Technique. I set the goal in that way with the client. I don't set it. They set it from their heart. And I will use a see, feel, hear almost every single session. That's just, amazing. And obviously this, with the words infinite love and gratitude, because it's free and because I want every single client to leave here with something that they can use, and it's free, to harmonize and to keep their balance and to sustain their balance. So it's just become, there are so many different aspects of the Lifeline Technique that I'll use. Especially the 5-element theory of Chinese medicine, that's always in the session. There's so much. There's
so much. And I love that. And I love the jargon that we're going into. And for people that might be aware of it, that's cool. For people that don't, it's like this thing called the connection, this thing called the see, feel, hear, this thing, like, what is this? Star Trek, the 5 elements, Chinese medicine. Let's just unpack a little bit of it. Like, what is the connection? Why is it valuable? How do you see that influencing you in your own health, your own life, let alone people around you?
Okay, so the connection, as you so beautifully explain it, is it's like tuning your musical instrument before playing. So I try and do that every single day before I get out of bed. I don't always do it, and I notice when I haven't, I'll use it before I go into an interview, before I'm seeing every time before I meet a client, because I want to have a clear, upgraded energy field. So for me, and I say this all the time, energy is everything. And for me, it's like spiritual hygiene. I think the energy we bring into a space is more influential and potentially more contagious than any viral load. So for me, I want to make sure that I am in my best self energetically. So I use it before I record a music video. So, you know, from my music life, and make sure that I'm in my best self. So that's a beautiful, gentle process. And I use it also if, say, for my children, if they're going through an emotional stressor and, you know, even having a meltdown, simply doing this brings people back in. And often in a session, so when someone comes into my clinic, we sit down, we talk about what they want to work on, what they want to clear, where the stress is in their lives. It can be a physical one, an emotional one, a mental one, as you know. And then when they get on the table, once we do the connection, once we've completed the connection, it's really common for them to go, you know, connect to your body. I don't have the physical symptom now. Just that can just shift, you know, because it gets us really present. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's amazing. And, you know, being a mom and having that tool, you know, being a dad, having this tool, just being a parent and having a tool like Lifeline. I mean, there's a lot that I want to talk about. I mean, one aspect in it, but I want to just stay with the mom and the parent component, but just even the concept of tuning the instrument and you being such an incredible musical artist and a really just such an inspiring, beautiful performer. Just the tuning the instrument so that you just shine in your art is so incredible, and it's really obvious that that you really are tuned while you're singing and performing, because you're just so elegant and it's so inspiring. But I want to come back to being a parent, because there's a lot of parents that are listening right now and tuning in, and our kids are going through things, especially in our world right now, coming out of COVID and different things like that, whether it be the challenges of kids having coughs and sniffles and asthma or whatever it might be, things that go on, let alone the anxiety and the stressors and the pressure of the world that we're in. What kind of impact are you seeing this have with your children or with children themselves?
Do you mean the impact of COVID, coming out of COVID, or the impact of this? Oh, okay. So my children
especially now. Especially now, where, you know, the pop and pill culture has always been, but now there's a divide in people where, oh, you either do something, you don't do something, and all these different things. Yet, you know, as the impact in kids is profound. How do you see having this tool of Lifeline influencing you as a mom, influencing you as a practitioner with kids specifically?
Okay, so as you know, sort of when I first started working with Lifeline and learning it 10 years ago or so, I had little children, small children who grew up with this. So for them, it was, I'm gonna give you one example. My little one, Phoenix, and he's not so little anymore. I mean, he's 14 years of age. But when he was little, I remember him playing a game of basketball, and one of his teammates, actually no, it was an opposition. One of the boys that he was playing with fell over and hurt his knee and was crying. And Phoenix stopped the game and went over to him and just started going, infinite love and gratitude, infinite love and gratitude, like over this boy's knee, right? And it was so beautiful. But I was, you know, I just remember thinking, oh, this is really, you know, this is in him, you know, it's in my children. They've grown up with knowing that makes a difference. And so, amazing. Yeah, so for I guess when they were younger, it was a pain shifter. And also, you know, gosh, so many things over the years that we used LifeLine Technique for: sunburn, and then, you know, running a session and then taking a photo afterwards of their face and their skin after a session, completely different, you know, like we've seen the physical healings happen over and over and over again as the body puts itself back together once you raise your energy and your vibration, right? But now my children are adolescents and I have an adult as well, right? And they still use this all the time. Every single day you'll hear them say infinite love and gratitude. It could be, you know, one of the children saying, I'm late for work and I'm not going to get there in time and it's a terrible start to the day, blah, blah, blah. And one of them will go infinite love and gratitude, infinite love and gratitude. And so for me, it's like, we use it to call ourselves into like a defibrillator, right? To bring you back in, bring your heart back on, get yourself back online, be present. It's presence, right? That's how I think we use it in our everyday world.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so now, you know, bigger children, probably heavier worries in their lives. And so it's just, you know, they will now say, Mum, I really need a session. Yeah, I think I really need a session for their emotional. They know that it's their emotional go-to, and they know that it means that I don't have to tell you my story. I don't have to tell you about what's going on for me, but I know that this process will shift it. Amazing.
Yeah, what a wonderful thing to have a non-content opportunity, let alone a safe space for them to connect. Profound. And that it's a verb, it's an action step. Infinite love and gratitude is just a part of a regular way of being. It's interesting that you use the word defibrillator. It reminds me of a moment I was in Tampa teaching at an I Can Do It conference, Louise Hay I Can Do It conference. I was there with my friend, Dr. Dan Ullman. I walked into the lobby and John Holland and a bunch of other of the authors were there. And I heard a screaming of a guy go, she's dead, someone help me. And I just went running towards this guy, and this woman is lying on this couch and she is ashen. And I put my hand over her heart and I just go into myself and I'm like, infinite love and gratitude. I just pulled it in, infinite love and gratitude, infinite love and gratitude. And all of a sudden she coughs and turn her to the side. She throws up. This MD comes running over. Somebody raise her legs, da 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 da. And I at that point I got up and walked away, and she was okay. But it's just like there's something that happens, and you said it raises the energy that changes the vibration. Let's talk about that, because you can go granular here. Like, let's shop as far as what the heck is happening within the energy field, the meridians, the chakras, the cells, the organs. What's happening when we're going infinite love and gratitude? The cells are listening, right? The cells are listening. And so, you know, and that's another thing that I, you know, obviously working with color therapy, my favorite part of the Lifeline, and I use it all the time in kinesiology as well, is if we're working with color therapy, you put the glasses on and the muscle, the first thing I ask is, you know, so I'm going to talk about color therapy. We're changing our perspective and how we're seeing a situation. So let's say, you know, we're going to put a pair of glasses on and they're the color green, which is related to as the heart, right? So we put a pair of glasses on. Yes, beautiful. I should get mine as well. I'll get mine. Hey, let's do it. Right? Nothing wrong with a little bit of fashion here. We're going into the heart chakra, everybody. Right? Let's do it. Right? And so the first thing I say is, how does it feel to look through this lens? And almost always it will be, oh, it's beautiful, it's calm, and I go, yeah, wow, right? And then look at your muscle, and their muscle will be unlocking, which indicates that there is stress. And so we're tapping into the deeper parts of ourselves. It's like your subconscious mind says, no, it's not. And so, you know, my favorite part is for them to see when we take the glasses off, look, now the muscle's locking, which means we're good. This is congruence, but this is no, but right. It's beautiful. You love it. And so what I say in this moment is you get to meet your subconscious in this moment, see this part of you that wants to protect you. Brilliant. And it's past and it's not relevant anymore. And it's just such a big moment when they get to meet that. And I say, but this is the part of you that's protecting you, and it's so beautiful. And so what we're doing is we're accessing deeper parts of ourselves that, you know, when we're conscious,
We can reprogram on a cellular level. That's exactly what we're doing when we're doing this and we're doing this, and we're, you know, accessing the protein receptors, infinite love and gratitude, raising vibration. The client doesn't need to know why, but they feel it.
It's pretty amazing when we start realizing that, wow, I'm being driven by memories that are not present, that are somewhere from another time, that haven't been processed or integrated yet. And those memories, when they get triggered by colors or senses, cause that memory to come to life in our body. It might show up as carpal tunnel syndrome. It might show up as some other thing, but yeah, it's such a profound literal light switch of what is going on here, right?
And that's what I like to use with the client, because they can feel it. You know, they already say, but I like the glasses. Yeah, but your subconscious is saying otherwise. So we want to get that on board. We don't want to make it go away. We're just shining a light on it. So you can consciously process and realize, I'm not in that state anymore. It is safe for me to be here and in this way. And then when they see the muscle hold, and look, now we've tuned your eyes into the vibration of love or peace or freedom, whatever it is that your intention is and what you want to feel in your body. We've tuned your vision back into it, right?
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing. I mean, ultimately, deep change dialogue. And so, you know, and within that, and Wayne Dyer said it, change the way you view things, the things that we view change. And yet we as human beings have these programs, have these memories that affect us and how we see ourselves, how we see each other. And it's really profound to go like, why isn't my back healing? What is going on with this inflammatory bowel disease? Why does my body not recognize this, this food, this cancer cell, this whatever it might be? Our body reflects our mind, and having this tool is really, it's something special. It really is. It's extraordinary. I'm curious as far as, because you're a teacher and you're a teacher's teacher. I mean, people come to you not only to experience and be held in your sacred space that you contain, that chrysalis that you contain for people to evolve and transform. Yet you also teach people how to do it themselves. You teach kinesi classes, you teach all these other amazing classes that is really liberating people in such an empowering way. What is it like, what is it as far as like learning Lifeline, at least from your perspective, that is like, why would you recommend it for a person to learn the Lifeline technique?
Because for me, and I still maintain this, when I get to describe what Lifeline technique is it's, for me, it's like kinesiology on steroids. It's it's a very highly intelligent way of working with energy and mapping the body and the systems in the body and the energy of the body, all the energetic systems as well. The dialogue that you have created, the portals that you have created, the past, present, future, time declarative statements I use almost in every session as well, because, oh gosh, they're huge. Thank you, Mum. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, body. All of these amazing statements are relevant for every single person. I mean, I've done so many sessions, but every single person, every single time, there is a deep connection that happens when a person is connecting with that dialogue. Huge shifts happen every single time. And so I want everyone to know this, because now more than ever, I don't feel like there's any more time for anything else. We have to understand that energy is everything and that we need to take responsibility. I mean, you can go and see a Lifeline practitioner or a kinesiologist, but why not learn it for yourself? Because then I can use this for myself. If I can't get in for a session with someone else, I'm going to run a session on myself. And it's so powerful, and it works for everything, including just powering up in a positive way. So you don't have to use it to clear something. You might want to go, I want to nail that job, or I want to, you know, do really well in this exam. So I'm going to have a session on it, and let's go there and raise your vibration to, you know, really that level. I mean, I had a session the night before my certification with you, and I just went, you know, I can't remember which portal it was now. I did it with Claire, and I was marching on the spot with the manual on my chest and just went, I know everything. You know, I've been studying it for 3 years or something. It's in there. I'm just going to harmonize to that. And, you know, I got 100%. And yeah. I've never got 100% on anything in my whole entire life. But it's, you know.
When you're passionate about something, it's fun. And when we're having fun, then it's amazing to learn things. You're psychic because you are reading my mind as far as the next question that I have for you, as far as like the concept of dreams and being able to be proactive and you don't have to be reactive. It's not just about the symptoms or the stressors of relationships or family, whatever it might be, that it can be about where you're going. And so my question to you, my dear friend, is as a result of being a truly remarkable certified Lifeline practitioner, human being, mom, performer that is impacting people all around the world, here's my question. What are you able to see in your future that you weren't able to see before? Today, in this moment, what are you capable of seeing in your future? What is that vision, that dream that you're capable of seeing now as a result of all these things that you bring together that make Nikki, Nikki?
That anything is possible, and that nothing is under control here except how we choose to show up in every moment. And this is why all of this matters. Like, this is why all of this matters. And anything is possible.
Yeah, I want you to drop the mic on that one, because, and everyone who's listening, just take a moment and just go ahead and say it. Anything's possible. And just connect to whatever your dream is and just say anything's possible. Because when you think that, and then here's the big part, and you feel it, when you can really feel that anything's possible, everything changes. Everything in life changes. It doesn't matter the diagnosis, doesn't matter the loss, doesn't matter the trauma, that everything becomes a portal to the next greatest version. That is really absolutely just extraordinary. Thank you for sharing that. I would love, I mean, time flies when we're having fun, and I am having so much fun. I'm so grateful to be here with you. And I would love, if anybody has any questions or comments, you can raise your hand, and Nikki and I would be grateful to connect with you. If anyone has any questions at all, feel free, and David will bring you on. We're so grateful that you're participating in this deep change dialogue with Nikki and I. Oh, cool.
Thanks, Elaine.
Are you able to undo your video?
And then
there we go. Hi.
Hi.
What's your name? Cal?
Jeff Clombies.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
I'm a big fan of Nikki, not only as a singer, but I love her Ask the Body. In fact, I'm over there more than I am watching her videos, but I watch her videos every day anyways.
Oh, Jeff, that's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
And so I ran into Darren by accident. He just came across my IG. I had no idea who he was. He said he was moving, all right, and he had some baskets or something, and I almost clicked it off. Then he said he had a letter, and he wanted to read this letter, and it was about, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I totally remembered. I found it when I was that hour. Right.
So I'm sort of halfway watching, listening to this thing, and I'm going like, who is this guy? Comes across my IG, and so he says something about Nikki, and I didn't, I had no, because you did not have an Australian accent. Okay.
No,
you don't have one because you're not in Australia.
Right, exactly. I'm in Chicago.
But then you said something, the letter says something about Adam and some kids. And then I went back and did the whole thing. And then I think she said her Adam was in the mining industry or something, and I had no idea what he did for work. So I looked and I said, Australian's a big, mining thing. And so then I started following you, Darren. I started following you.
That is cool.
And I was already a big fan of Ask the Body and By the Bay with Denise.
Yeah.
And I'm learning about kinesiology. That's what I'm doing slowly. I do it my way.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, that is an incredible synchronicity, Jeff. I mean, I remember we were moving houses and I found this big bin of testimonials and I started reading. I'm like, oh, Nikki. And I just went on an Instagram live. So that is hilarious. Yeah. That's how I got here. Well, cool. Well, thank you for being here. And thanks for saying that. That brings warmness to my heart. I love it.
Right.
It's beautiful to hear your voice, Jeff. We've only ever communicated on the chat. So.
Maybe someday we'll meet. I don't know, but
absolutely one day we'll meet. I'm sure of it.
Okay, but and Darren, you too. You're in Illinois, correct?
That's right, brother.
Right. That's what I remember. Right.
Yeah. Amazing. Well,
so I'll probably go with the session eventually with kinesiology. Just basic, me paying for a session. I don't have any problems right now. Well, I got a lot of problems, but it's not, they're not painful.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a great point, Jeff. And I'd love just to really just talk about that. The concept of problems, it's not about a problem. That when we look at our body with compassion and curiosity, we end up realizing that the symptoms in our body or the stressors in our life or the dreams that we have are a portal to our subconscious mind. And that portal opens up a whole other world when we use it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I totally understand that because I've done my research. Okay. And I've listened to a lot of what Nikki has said, through her videos. Okay. And I probably got probably 4 or 5 hours worth of stuff we'd have to talk about before we ever got into muscle testing.
Maybe or maybe not. So what I would say is just go for it. Have a great time.
Right.
Love it. And you're awesome. And I'm so grateful that you raised your hand, man.
Okay. One more thing. How do you do that how do you do that online? I mean, you're in South Australia and you're in Illinois. So how does that work with muscle testing?
Well, muscle testing, how would you say, Nikki?
So because energy is everything.
Right, I agree with that.
Yeah, so we're all connected. So you and I are connected right now, and Darren and I, and everybody on this call right now, we're all connected. We're infinitely always connected. But with muscle testing, what happens is I ask for an indicator change, meaning I just want to make sure, I'll start with a locked muscle, and when it indicates, I ask it to let me know when I've picked up your energy, and now I'm using myself as a surrogate to muscle test for you. And it's no longer about me. And that's why you can work with animals, you can work with little babies, to get the information for the person that you're working with. I do sessions online all the time with people all over the world, as Darren does, and all other Lifeline practitioners. Yeah. And then basically you get the remedies, or we give you the things to do yourself. So it's always an active process. There's nothing being done to you. It's working with you.
That's right.
And it's amazing. Yeah.
We share the same sky. We share the same energy. And so the muscle testing is just a connection between us. And it's a mind bender for people to be on the opposite side of the world and think that you can actually do that. But it's actually very simple and fun and effective. So really cool.
Well, thanks a lot, Darren, for having this.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so grateful, Jeff, and blessings to you. You keep shining bright, man, and for love and gratitude.
All right, you too.
Awesome.
All right, thank you, Nikki. Love you.
You're welcome.
Love you both.
Love you, brother, and for love and gratitude. And love you to everyone here. So grateful that you've tuned on into this deep change dialogue with Nikki and I. Nikki, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be a part of this. I know it's a really big impact for people to hear how people are using Lifeline. It's really an inspiration, and I love connecting with you as well. So I'm so grateful and just so blessed for our friendship, and how you're choosing to show up.
Darren, thank you. I mean, I'm forever grateful for you. You know that. So, and yeah, I just hope that anybody who is listening and interested in learning this for themselves, please do it. And at the very least, I say join in on your weekly healing circles. I'm telling people to do that all the time, because you'll get the healing and you'll get a feel for how it works. And it's amazing. It really is a game changer.
It is. It's cool. I mean, it's one thing to experience it, which is really powerful, but it's another thing to be in life, because life is real. And every day we're experiencing little to huge amounts of pain and stress on so many levels. And to be able to have a tool that allows us to stay intentional and process emotions, it's like, I can't think of anything greater for our world that is evolving at such a rapid rate. So thank you for being a way shower and a bright light, a real lighthouse for people to know that it's possible, because you're really doing an amazing, amazing job being yourself and just shining so bright. I love you, my friend. Love you, David Kaplan. Thank you for everything. And to each and every one of you, keep shining bright. Have a great rest of your day. Infinite love and gratitude.
Love and gratitude.
Have a great one, sweetheart. Have a great day. Send my love to your friend.
The recording has stopped.